everyone, Sperry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Welcome to the honey house here in Southeast Louisiana. We are here ready to do some extracting. So, if you watched the prior video, that was us kind of picking and choosing frames from some boxes and pulling full supers off of others, and then pulling some partials off that I'll only extract what's dry enough to extract. I have to create room on the colonies because the tallow flow is 2 weeks at the most away. I got some tallow blooms that right now are about yay long. That means they'll be falling over, turning yellow, and that's when the bees start to hit them. We have to have room on the colonies. I do have other supers. I said in the last videos I need more supers. I have more supers. I just got to put some frames together with some foundation. But right now, our goal is just to get them set, get space back on the colonies, and then next week or so, when I get an opportunity, I can go back through and check and see who needs more space. Because the problem is I have a lot of partials out there. How our flow works, as you hear all the noise in the background, that's my AC running on dry mode. I did leave it on overnight. My dehydrator and my dehumidifier, and some fans blowing through the boxes. But how our flow works here is we'll have a little nominal flow pick up around February. Of course, we get the red maples and all that, then that'll taper off, and we'll begin to have just stuff moving in. Bees will build. They tend to want to swarm, so we're fighting swarming for a couple months. This year, I'm hearing everybody that I talk to from the Mid-South down is talking about swarming, all the way over to Georgia and the Carolinas. But anyway, that it's been pretty heavy. And I mean, it's been a great spring, so I think everybody's having a great spring, and maybe we're just getting behind. I personally got behind. I just, with work and everything, I did not have the time that I needed or should have invested, and it was just a time off versus not having time off, not taking time off. It happens. So that's kind of the thing, is the flow will come in and we'll fight that swarming, and it'll just stay nominal. It's not enough to build comb. They won't build massive amounts of wax. They will draw some, but they grow very fast. They fill up too deep and they want to go. So you put a super on, but they're not ready. They're not ready to move into the super at the third week, fourth week of March. So unless you had split them, they're ready to swarm no matter how much. You can give them 5 supers drawn and they're gonna not move up. They're gonna swarm. So that requires a lot of monitoring and trying to keep them in the boxes, splitting them again, things like that, requeening. So we get through that, and about mid-April we begin to get a privet. If we get the privet, that's usually a great buildup for your splits, and it's a flow, a honey harvest for the ones that you didn't split. Peaking them in the privet is not ideal, because now you're another 2 to 3 weeks concerned with space. If you don't have a good privet flow, then it's okay. We had a phenomenal one this year, so we got a lot of half-filled boxes out there. They will not hold the amount of tallow that's coming in, so it's going to be an issue, and so there'll have to be some new boxes thrown on top. That's the flow in a few-minute nutshell. So that's all we're going to do today. I'm doing some extracting. I have got those boxes. I'd say about, if you consolidated everything, it's absolutely full. We've got probably 8 to 10. Even though you see 15 mediums, there's probably 8 to 10 mediums that are, if you fill them all up. And then that deep has some partials that I had to pick through. So if there's anything that's not capped, I'm gonna check it with a refractometer, do some random checks, but privet's normally pretty dry, so I decided to dry it down even more so I can maybe take the uncapped stuff as well, and that gives me all empty boxes, and that's kind of hopefully what I want to do, but I don't think I will. There'll be some that go back on with some frames that are partially filled. So it's definitely all about opening up space on the brood nest, or on the hive, so they don't fill the brood nest. But I can tell you, and it's normal right now, but a lot of the second deeps are full of nectar. So these are going right back on this evening as soon as we can get done. So I'm kind of pressed for time. Yesterday, had a couple hours to get everything off. I had about 4 hours to get everything off, 3 to 4, and I got it off and cleaned up about 2.5 to 3 hours. Now we've got about 4 to 5 hours to get these done. get everything in the buckets, and get these boxes back out on colonies. I can't speak today. I'm in a hurry. All right, let's get busy. Before we do that, let me show you what I got. I have these boxes now. I've been drying this honey now. I've been drying honey like this for probably the last 4 years now. I like doing it this way with the tallow, especially because it's a wet honey. And this allows me to leave it, I'll leave it in here for 3 days or so. And keeping the room and the boxes in the air below 55% humidity will desiccate any small hive beetle eggs, so I don't have that problem. So I started doing it, and all I use is a shim under on top. All right, as you can see under the fan, I use a shim on the bottom. I run the air through it. Right now they're on high, but I'll do high for the first day, and then if these were going to sit for another 2 days, I'd turn it down to medium. I keep a dehumidifier, empty it every evening, every morning. It's 35% in here right now. I keep my AC unit on the dry mode, and that does the trick. So those of you who have been with me for a while know what I do. I run strainers and buckets. I don't have a settling tank. I utilize a Maxent uncapping tank. I have a Hilco 18 frame Ultramax extractor. I also have my old Maxent extractor I've moved up from. I am holding on to that. I still have my 2 frame plastic extractor, which I loan out to a lot of people. I at times utilize this Hilco 5 gallon. It's a cold bottling tank, but I use it to, like if I'm choked up down there in that strainer, then I like to have this tank here standing by, and it's got the same size screens. I think that's like a 600 and no, it's like a, ooh, that's a small one. It's probably 400 micron, I think. But anyway, it's got 2 strains, so you put the honey in this end, it strains through. It is slow, but it works well. And so if I'm backed up in my strainers, I pull the bucket out, let that strainer finish, clean it out maybe even. I go ahead and fill this thing on up, and I set it off to the side and keep using strainers. I rotate 3 strainers in buckets out, and it is quite a choke point, but I'm not a major honey producer, so it's not the end of the world. But while that's doing that, before I need to use this again, I can usually drain it. The nice thing about this, it's already strained. I drain it straight into a bucket. I also keep a bucket running under my a capping tank, and so I just try and keep a smooth process. The extractor has to run for a while anyway, so I got time between chopping frames. Once I get this thing full of frames, I just do other stuff. I stay busy the whole time. So I also still utilize this old bread knife that was from Kelly Bees. So a lot of folks always ask me where I got it. I got it at Kelly with my extractor, my very first plastic extractor. I don't know where they got this. I don't know the measurements on it. It's maybe a total of 14 inches, so the blade, I'm guessing, is 10 inches. And it's a serrated looking bread knife. I don't know where they got it at Kelly, but I still use it. I like it. I'm quicker with it than a hot knife. I've tried the Pierce hot knife. I'd like to try it again. I'm just not sure. I don't know, I tried it several times. I didn't care for the hot knife. That's just me. And I don't ever really know that I'm a plan on getting so big that I need an uncapper. So I'll probably stick with the cold knife. And I almost forgot the one thing that I got at the expo that I want to try this year. Most of these frames are loose, but this is it's built out of oak wood. To the right dimensions to bust the frames loose from the box. Let's see how it does. I've never used this before. Brand new. You put it in here, bust all the propolis loose. Pretty neat. Ooh, it's thick, 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 thick. And just like that, we're started. So that's going to be my day for the next few hours. I'm always looking for 80% capped or better on a frame. Now that I have a refractometer, of course, I try to check it and see where we're at. I'm going to check a few of these, see what they're at, get a take on what we're doing. If I get a good, as I'm going around, I'm constantly seeing low percentages. I won't check a lot. I just randomly check and we'll be good to go. A lot of capped honey, so it's not a big deal. Like I say, 80% for me is what I do. And I do the shake test always. Before I even had a refractometer, I always did a shake test, which is I shake the frame really hard to see if any nectar comes out. And if I might get a drop here and there, because sometimes you can shake hard enough to get a little bit of honey out or some wet honey. But if it's a drop or two, I pull it. So one like this, I shake it. I got like a little bit that came out of one side of it. Just a few drops that popped out over here. Probably out of that drone brood right there that's empty now. That's it. So and they're starting to cap it. So I'm gonna check it and see what it's running. So clear. Look how clear that honey is. That is solid privet right there. I'll stick it on there. All right, I got it smeared on here good. We're gonna take a look, and 16%. Here, I'll let y'all take a look. See for yourself. So that's basically a fully uncapped frame. Privet is very dry. I'll check a few random others. And even though it's pretty dry, it could also still have to do with me running dry air through them and drying it. So we're gonna run with it. Let me give you an idea of just how clear this stuff is. This is a newer frame. Look how crystal clear that is. And thick, man, it's thick. Clogs up the uncapping fork, clogs up the knife. Let's see if I can show you, like when you pull it out. Look how it's crystal clear and thick. Doesn't help that I got the AC on dry mode, because it definitely makes it colder, but it's almost one of those necessary evils if I want to dry everything out. This stuff is normally dry. I probably didn't have to. I just didn't want to take any chances. So I really want to get as much out as I can. I really, really want to give some space to those bees. Pretty neat little device. Here's my 18 frame. I do like my extractor. It loads pretty doggone easy. My Maxon's got really tight clearances, makes it a little more difficult, but my Maxon's not bad at all, don't get me wrong, it's just too small, and this is nicer. This does load easier, and it runs 100 times quieter. Nice unit. But as any radio extractor, it has to run for a little bit. It's not exempt from that. With this thick honey, it'll probably run for quite a while to get it all out. I'm going to be pushing it to get done when I need to. But we do what we can do. And here we go, we're loaded. It's a little cattywampus, but that's all right. Here it comes, the first of 2024. It's thick, it's taking a while. It's here. Oh, is it thick? Now it's rolling. That's a light spring honey. Well, I know it's only been a millisecond for you guys, but it's been a little while for me, and we're rolling on through the frames. I got a stack down to that box. It's slow going and slow pickings. The driest I have found has been just between 14 and 15, so very, very dry. Hopefully not too dry. It's still just the most crystal clear honey. It's so clear. I'm always amazed at this early privet honey, and it's so sweet. I wish you could taste it from where you were, but you can't. So that's too bad, just too bad. But I have some over here on the counter. And what I can tell you, it's good. I can definitely taste the floral flavor in it, but it's not too strong right now. As I understand, as it sits though, is where the strength of the floral flavor comes in. That's where you'll taste it. But right now it's sweet and very, very mild. But you can taste that hint that you smell in the air when you're out. But the frame cracker deal is working great. I had one that was tough. I had to pick it back up and pop it down on there, and man, it blew the frames right up top. So now they're all loose. But these right here, these are dry. That's all filled and dried. Even these are. I've checked it. It's like 15% and 16%. I had one like this I left though, because the other side is almost empty, so I'll leave that for the bees to finish filling. This one same way, but slow going with as thick as it is. It's definitely taking a while to spin. If I have the load out of balance a little bit, normally you just take a load that's out of balance and you just simply let it run really slow, of course. We all know that, and let a lot of that kind of get out there and let it equalize. Well, with this stuff, you can't run it slow, it won't come out. So it's been a little bit of a quandary on that first load that was out of whack. Took a long time, but I got the second one balanced a little better, made sure and paid attention to what I was putting in there, and it's doing fine. It's I mean, it's got a wobble, but it's not bad, and it's not bolted down. One of these days I'm going to bolt it down. Still at it. Hopefully won't be much longer, but well over halfway. I gotta get out here and get some of these put back on tonight. I won't be able to do it tomorrow, and this weekend is a no-go, so everything's got to get done today. Just staying with it, spinning honey, got a few buckets. Hey, all is well. Chop up all my cappings, as a lot of y'all know, and look at the slurry on top of that. It's just all honey. And so by tomorrow all that will seep through. So I pulverize these with my knife, and that old slurry right there will settle on through that wax. All the wax will go to the top and it'll go into here, and this thing right now has already got over 5 gallons in it. An inch above the valve is just over 5 gallons. Ah, the Hillcoat's yielding some honey. Gotta kind of run it slow right now. It's a little out of whack. I had a few odd frames, but I'll give them a few minutes to equalize out and it'll be good. Well, folks, I'm wrapped up. I had to go. No, I didn't break a sweat in here. I went and got all the boxes back on, all the frames back in, all the frames we piecemealed out. put them all back in, went out, swapped some supers around, supers that we extracted and did not need back on the colonies because they were swarm colonies. I took them and put them on needed colonies. So I'm not going to be able to do anything for the next 4 to 5 days, so I need to get everything set. When I get back, it's going to be harvest time again. It looks like going to be pulling some more off. Things will be capped. So right as we get ready to go into the tallow flow, I'm going to yank supers, do the same thing I did tonight, get them all today, and get them all done. So right now, I just came in. My wife has been in here taking care of getting some honey drained and everything, and we've got everything pretty much in the buckets. Got 2 draining here. We got 5 over there. You'll notice a honey gate. I hate honey gates, but the first 2 buckets, I put that one, and I got number 6 over here, because I have customers that when I get this light honey, which we didn't get any last 2 years, when they find out I have it, they want it. We got a tank full. This wax is still draining. Look, it's not puddled up anymore. There's a bucket in here. So all in all, looks like we've got about 40 gallons. So just shy of 500 pounds. So that's a great little early harvest for sure. Not complaining one bit, and grateful to get that. That's a great start. I know what I need. I know what my projection or my goal is. I know what I need each year normally. And so I'm well on my way. We'll see how the tallow comes in as far as I know the tallow is going to probably come in good, but do I have the bees to go get it? That will be the question. A lot of them are full out there, and I got supers on all the big ones, and they're stacked high. Each one has at least 3 to 4 empty supers, drawn comb. A couple of them have some foundation, and I'm going to put some more foundation on right as we hit the flow. See if we can get some more comb drawn. But hey, I'm grateful. So I got to finish cleaning up in here. She got done with all the draining. I got done outside getting all that done. So now I've got to sweep up, clean up, and put a lid on some stuff, wash the strainers, and I go. So anyway, that's all I got for today. I sure appreciate all you guys watching. Sure appreciate your support. This is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Today, we did honey. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and may God bless you. We'll see y'all later.